Good evening. Welcome to Reading Things with a Southern Accent 2020, episode 37. Yes, we have introduced reverb into the broadcast tonight because it's fun and I can. I have a mixing board that I bought to work with the church service that we're doing here on Sunday mornings, and it has an effects bank in the mixer itself, so I'm playing with reverb. I just wish that I could hear it in my own ears right now, because earlier I was just talking back into the headphones, or talking back into the microphone with the headphones on, and it was a lot of fun to just sit and listen to yourself talk with reverb. It's fun. Okay, bunch of things that I want to talk about tonight. First, I have a joke. The joke is this. A bear walks into a bar, orders a whiskey and cola. The bartender says, "Why the big pause?" The bear says, "I don't know. I was born with them." All right, that's the first thing I wanted to say. Second thing, murder hornets. As if 2020 was not a jacked up enough year as it is, we have had to introduce the murder hornet. This is not a killer bee. It's like worse than a killer bee. It's a murder hornet. Side note, I have been stung by an African killer bee. It hurt like the dickens. It happened in Africa. That is another story for another day. Murder hornets. There's video on the internet of a hornet murdering a mouse. We don't need this kind of extra plague going on in the midst of the coronavirus. So whoever's playing Jumanji right now and releasing all of the nonsense into the stratosphere, can you please stop? All right? That's the second thing. Third thing is this. I don't have my producer tonight. She has abandoned me. She got a better offer, so I am left to my own devices. You guys know when I'm left to my own devices, I go long, I talk about random things, and we add reverb to the mix. So that's thing number 3. Thing number 4, today is May 4th, 2020. So what does that mean? All of my fellow nerd friends, yes, it is May the 4th. It is the official Star Wars day. So May the 4th be with you. I do have on my Star Wars shirt. I have on my Star Wars socks. Can you see which one is better? Chewbacca is on my socks. You can see him. So May the 4th be with you. Now, you might also notice that there is a different piece of set dressing here this evening. We miss your capabilities, Kristen. Oh, thanks a lot, Douglas. I'm a little dark tonight. Well, here, maybe I can fix that while we speak. Let me see. I'm going to go to filters, color correction, brightness. Did that help anything? I don't know. It might not, but we'll see. I'm a little dark tonight. I changed all my settings on Sundays for the church service. So I got to put everything back together. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Aside from that, new piece of set dressing here tonight is this NFL. It is a regulation NFL football. It is an official NFL Wilson football. And it is here because today marks the passing of the greatest football coach of all time, Don Shula. No, it's not he. The winningest football coach in NFL history. He was the coach of the Miami Dolphins for many, many years. He coached the Colts for a period of time. He played for the Redskins, he played for the Colts, he played for the Browns. Don Shula died today. He was 90 years old. And the reason why I hold this football here in my hand, you probably can't see it because it goes out of focus the closer you get to the camera, is when I worked in television, out of all of the celebrities that rolled through the TV stations that I worked at, Don Shula was the only one that I ever left my office for. And I had this football just happened to be sitting in my office. I took it downstairs, and I had Don Shula sign it. So this is Don Shula's autograph. This is Don Shula, Hall of Fame, 97, because that's when he was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. So I pulled this out here tonight to commemorate the winningest coach in NFL history, and today marks his passing. So may the fourth be with you, Don Shula. Thank you for being a fantastic football coach. I can tell you this. I've had to interact with a bunch of different people who are famous, not famous, throughout my career. And the only person that made me stumble and turn into a small child and not be able to finish sentences was Don Shula. Not his fault. He was at a TV station promoting a steakhouse, but I got his autograph anyways. So that is that as far as Don Shula goes, I think. Yep, sure, why not? Tonight's actual reading comes from the same book we've been reading from for a while. We're still doing Edgar Allan Poe this week because Edgar Allan Poe is fun. And I've chosen, because the producer abandoned me, I chose a selection. It is the first piece in this collection of stories, which is Complete Stories and Poems of Edgar Allan Poe. And it is The Murders in the Rue Morgue. The Murders in the Rue Morgue. Now, if you need to know a little bit about it, here we go. The Murders in the Rue Morgue is a short story by Edgar Allan Poe published in Graham's Magazine in 1841. It has been described as the first modern detective story. Poe referred to it as one of his tales of rationation. I Googled this word. I listened to it. They had a British guy saying it. Still have no idea really what the word is. Auguste Dupin is a man in Paris who solves the mystery of the brutal murder of two women. That is the premise of this story. It is the precursor to the Purloined Letter. So tomorrow we will be reading the Purloined Letter. All right, enough pre-text for this night's reading. What do we got here? The producer she's tuned in. Hi, honey. Thanks for tuning in. This comes from the section of the Tales of Mystery and Horror. This is the murders. Oh, man. What is it? Why can't they have that at the top of the page? The Murders in the Rue Morgue. Takes place in Paris. Also, tonight, our bourbon has been supplied by the Reed family. The Reed family is friends of ours, and they have graciously donated to the cause. So thank you, Tim and Gretchen, for supplying tonight's beverages. Here we go. I really wish I could hear that reverb. Turn now to other indications of the employment of a vigor most marvelous. On the hearth were thick tresses, very thick tresses of gray human hair. These had been torn out by the roots. You are aware of the great force necessary in tearing thus from the head even 20 or 30 hairs together. You saw the locks, in question, as well as myself. Their roots, a hideous sight, were clotted with fragments of flesh of the scalp, sure token of the prodigious power which had been exerted in uprooting perhaps 500,000 of hairs at a time. The throat of the old lady was not merely cut, but the head absolutely severed from the body. The instrument was a mere razor. I wish you also to look at the brutal ferocity of these deeds, of the bruises upon the body of Madame La Espagnole. I do not speak, Monsieur Dumais, and his worthy coadjutor, Monsieur Etienne, I don't know what I'm saying, have pronounced that they were inflicted by some obtuse instrument, and so far these gentlemen are very correct. The obtuse instrument was clearly the stone pavement in the yard upon which the victim had fallen from the window which looked in upon the bed. This idea, however simple it may now seem, escaped the police for the same reason that the breadth of the shutters escaped them. Because by the affair of the nails, their perceptions had been hermetically sealed against the possibility of the windows having ever been opened at all. If now, in addition to all these, you have properly reflected upon the odd disorder of the chamber, we have gone so far as to combine the ideas of an agility astounding and strength superhuman, a ferocity brutal. I don't know who Bob Armstrong is. Hold on. I'm losing my place. People are texting me. This idea, however simple it may seem now, escaped the police for the same reason that the breadth of the shutters escaped them. Because by the affair, I know who you're talking about. The affair of the nails, their perceptions had been hermetically sealed against the possibility of the windows having ever been opened at all. I'm sorry, I reread a bunch. If now, in addition to all these things, you have properly reflected upon the odd disorder of the chamber, we have gone so far as to combine the ideas of agility astounding, a strength superhuman, a ferocity brutal, a butchery without motive, a grotesquerie in horror absolutely alien from humanity, and a voice foreign in tone to the ears of men of many nations, and devoid of all distinct or intelligible syllabification. What result then has ensued? What impression have I made upon your fancy? I felt a creeping of the flesh as Dupin asked me the question. A madman, I said, has done this deed. Some raving maniac escaped from a neighboring maison de santé. In some respects, he replied, your idea is not irrelevant, but the voices of madmen, even in their wildest paroxysms, are never found to tally with the peculiar voice heard upon the stairs. Madmen are of some nation, and their language, however incoherent in its words, has always the coherence of syllabification. Besides, The hair of a madman is not such as I now hold in my hand. I disentangled this little tuft from the rigidly clutched fingers of Madame la Espagnole. Tell me what you can make of it. Dupin, I said, completely unnerved, this hair is most unusual. This is no human hair. I have not asserted that it is, he said, but before we decide this point, I wish you to glance at the little sketch I have traced upon this paper. It is a facsimile drawing of what has been described in one portion of the testimony of dark bruises and deep indentations of fingernails upon the throat of Mademoiselle la Espagnole, and in another, by Messieurs Dumais et al., as a series, oh man, that turned British real fast, as a series of livid spots, evidently the impression of fingers. You will perceive, I'm almost done. You will perceive, continued my friend, spreading out of the paper upon the table before us, that this drawing gives the idea of a firm and fixed hold. See, they're talking about strangulation. A firm and fixed hold. There is no slipping apparent. Each finger has retained, possibly until the death of the victim, the fearful grasp by which it originally embedded itself. Attempt now to place all your fingers at the same time in the respective impressions as you see them. I made the attempt in vain. You know, I often complain that the producer picks out very, very long and wordy sections, but apparently I have done it to myself as well. Y'all are cuter. Eric says, oh. That is a section from The Murders in the Rue Morgue, published originally in 1841 by Mr. Edgar Allan Poe. That is going to do it for the reading tonight in Reading Things with a Southern Accent. I don't know how many people are still here. I'm sure people have either nodded off, stopped watching, or been like, this is nonsense, and they will no longer tune in. It's fine. Tomorrow night, I will read from the Purloined Letter. Mother, I will adjust the lighting. You say it's dark. This monitor here does not appear dark. This monitor here appears okay. I can't tell. However, that's going to do it. Remember, look out for the murder hornets. Badness all around. And I think that's it. I have no producer over here to bounce ideas off of, to tell me to go, hey, wrap it up, or to tell me to address anything. So I'm just going to go. As always, as we tune in, as we sign off here during the COVID-19 coronapocalypse, coronavirus, stay-at-home order, social distancing lockdown, as always, please, my name is Murph. Wash your hands. Good night.